Defender of Freedom uploading data log for days 111 to 114 of the Galactic War. Hello Data Archive. Helldivers have been overachieving in their successes, resulting in tremendous progress against the Meridia supercolony. But the final phase of the operation in Meridia is proving to be extremely difficult. The major order on day 111 continued with Turing, as the last planet requiring liberation. The Meridia supercolony's range of influence continues to grow by the day, and the cosmic spores reach Sirius and Veld, causing 2 additional Terminid attacks. These 2 planets are of particular interest, considering they are direct lines to our research facilities on Moradesh. If it wasn't so obvious that the bugs are definitely non-sentient, I would think that they are up to something. But this just appears to be consecutive events of sheer coincidence. Halfway through day 111, the defense of Akamar 4 failed, but the liberation of Turing reached 83%. And just 3 hours later, Turing saw liberation. In just half of the time provided, all lines to Meridia are already secured by the Helldivers. This is due to the valiant efforts of the current and previous major orders. And with so much time to spare, this would launch the first ever Helldiver recreational bug bash, lasting 2 full days. The festivities began on Veld. Helldivers arrived from Turing with a defense behind by over 30%. New Thief recruits on Veld were utterly astounded by the efficiency of the Helldivers, who effortlessly turned around the defense and saved the planet in the early hours of day 112. Helldivers then deployed to Sirius, but there was not enough time to complete the defense. But the party must go on, and the re-liberation campaign began immediately afterwards. A grey planet covered in thick fog was all in a day's work by now for the Helldivers. Sirius was liberated just 13 hours later. With yet still much time to spare before new orders, Helldivers moved on to Akamar 4. Their momentum seemed to only increase. Helldivers once again showed their unparalleled skill and efficiency on the field, liberating the planet in the opening hours of day 113. With the bugs too stupid to possibly understand what giving up could mean, another attack was launched on our trading facilities on Heath. Helldivers quickly deployed to the defense of our trading facilities. The defense trended very well up until the conclusion of the major order and the first ever Helldiver bug bash. Despite High Command's suggestion that any losses would be acceptable, Helldivers are full of Type A overachievers, who were able to secure the Terminid front prior to the next phase of the operation. In all, this resulted in 4 liberated planets, 1 successful defense, and 73% of another defense in the span of 3 days. With the successful completion of this major order, the path to the Terminid supercolony on Meridia was cleared. The Super Destroyer fleet has been dispensed with weaponized payloads of dark fluid for the next phase of this operation. Operation Enduring Peace Phase 2 was disseminated by High Command. Time has been declared to eradicate the Terminid supercolony completely. The goal of this phase of the operation is to trigger a total planetary implosion on Meridia, destroying the supercolony and the hyper-reproductive Terminids therein. This will be achieved in small steps by our Helldiver teams who will deploy to deliver partial payloads of dark fluid across the planet, which will aggregate together into a super dense mass after sufficient dark fluid has been delivered. This super dense mass will trigger the planetary implosion. High Command has issued great urgency with this major order, where the speed of this deployment is critical. The technicians are producing dark fluid at an extremely high output, even with sleep and safety protocols being optimized for productivity. The production cannot be maintained for long. Destroying Meridia is an irreversible action, but the voting algorithm has deemed that it is a necessary evil. The tyrannical actions of the Terminids have left us with no alternative. The galaxy is in the hands of the Helldivers. With new orders and a defense of Heath well under control, Helldivers generously left the fresh recruits to fend for themselves to complete the defense of Heath. Helldivers' first drops onto Meridia was a sight to behold. The remnants of the TCS, and massive tunnels hollowing out the planet. The once lush and beautiful Meridia has become completely infested. The mission is to deploy dark fluid transport packs and place them into tectonic drills to dispense dark fluid into the planet. Our Helldivers have noted that the transport packs can be used as an enhanced jump pack. But as the dark fluid becomes unstable, there seems to be a side effect of sudden disappearance. Helldivers who have returned from deployments on the ground have shared that the mission is more difficult than any other we have seen before. It seems there are endless waves of bugs on the ground in Meridia. The terminids on the super colony are capable of breaching directly beneath our drills, making the deployment of the dark fluid very challenging. There appears to be no limits to the cheating bugs. After placing the dark fluid successfully on the planet, Helldivers have seen massive tremors that result in the release of huge swarms of filthy insects. As a result, very few Helldivers have been able to successfully extract their completed missions. But those who have fallen on Meridia are not to be mourned, but to be celebrated forever as heroes of this galactic war. The terminid super colony on Meridia has unleashed unspeakable horrors upon our worlds, ravaging our homes, and endangering the lives of every citizen of Super Earth. For the first day and a half, it seemed progress was not increasing for the priority campaign. But at the end of day 114, it seems Helldivers have finally broken through the resistance on the planet, and progress is being observed. This concludes this data log for days 111 to 114 Data Archive. We must rise as one, with unwavering courage and unyielding resolve to end this threat once and for all. The Defender of Freedom remains in Meridia until we complete this operation. Hello from the Data Archive. Often through mission briefings and dispatches, you will see notices of high resistance or decreased resistance. This is critical information regarding the war. But what is resistance? Essentially, it is the rate which progress on liberations or priority campaigns are decreased over time. This means that while missions are completed and contributions are made to the overall campaign on the planet, the level of resistance of our enemies reduces our rate of progress, and this is typically measured in a reduction per hour. The situation in Meridia began at -10% per hour, making progress essentially impossible. But as more operations are completed on Meridia, this rate has gradually decreased, now down to 5.5%. This is why we are starting to see very little progress on the campaign. We should expect that this rate will continue to decrease as we complete more operations, resulting in a gradual increase in our rate of progress. We are hopeful that this information will be included in the updated war tables from Battlefield Systems. Fight on, Helldivers, we should expect to see progress ramp up in the coming days.